All right, the next comment. Hello, Brother Kim. One question. What proof is there that in Job chapter 1, when Satan came with the sons of God to present himself before the Lord, how can we know for certain that this took place in heaven? So go to Job chapter 1, 2. Keep your hand at Matthew 5. Two places, Matthew 5, but go to Job 1. Job 1. All right, let me continue reading. How can we know for certain that this took place in heaven? I have someone needing an answer to that. Okay, so what he's talking about is that in the passage, Job chapter 1, we teach that when Satan and the sons of God came before the Lord, this took place in heaven. But he wants proof of that. Where does it say that it took place in heaven? So look at Job chapter 1. Verse 6, Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. So there's no mention of heaven here. It just says they presented themselves before the Lord. So we need evidence here that this took place in heaven. So how do we know this? The first note is verse 7. Look at verse 7. So how do we know at verse 6, when they presented themselves before the Lord, it took place in heaven? Because of verse 7. What did Satan say right there? When God asked Satan, whence comest thou, Satan? Satan said, walking to and fro the earth and walking up and down in it. So in verse 7, you'll notice right there, Satan came from the earth. See that? So it's away from the earth. So that's the first clue. You'll notice that this did not take place on the earth. So when they presented themselves before the Lord, this definitely did not happen on the earth. So that's the first clue that it must have taken place in heaven, because it's away from the earth. But let's build up the evidence even more. Look at Matthew 5, verse 34. Here's the thing. The verse said in verse 6, they presented themselves before who? The Lord, right? When the Lord judges people, so that's what was going on. The sons of God and Satan was there, and God was doing his stuff. Where is God? He is in heaven. See that? So when they presented themselves before the Lord, the key is, where is the Lord? He's in heaven. Look at Matthew 5. We're going to look at verse 34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is what? God's throne. See, so God is up in heaven, according to Matthew 5. Now, go to Psalms 9. Psalms 9. What does he do on that throne? What does he do on that throne? What he does is that he is known for judging. He is known for judging on that throne. So while God is doing his judgment, his judging, at Job 1, with the sons of God and Satan over there, he is on his throne judging up in heaven. Look at Psalms chapter 9. We're going to look at verse 4 and verse 16. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou sattest, so right now, in the throne, judging right. So God is in heaven on a throne, okay? So he is on a throne in heaven. So I can't draw that accurately, but anyway, this is the throne. So he is on his throne in heaven. Now look at verse 16. The Lord is known, so he's known by that, by the judgment which he executeth. So remember when God was passing down judgment, what to do with Job at Job chapter 1 and 2, what he's supposed to do? Where does this take place then? It will take place in heaven. So that's what's going on. Now, look at Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14. But here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. Satan, he cannot go to heaven. He cannot go to heaven. So even though this takes place up in heaven before the Lord, they presented themselves before the Lord, right? They are away from the earth. This side is representing Satan and sons of God. But here's the problem. These guys who are away from the earth and they presented themselves before the Lord in heaven, where his throne is, they can't go in here. They're not allowed. You know why? Because they got kicked out. Look at Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from where? Heaven, O Lucifer. See, he fell, so he has no access. Look at Revelation 4. Revelation 4. This is why this doctrine is important. I don't think churches are going to teach this except Bible-believing churches. Bible believers know this. So here's the answer. So here's a question and the answer. Satan can't present himself before the throne in heaven, right? God is in the throne in heaven, right? But they can't be in there. Yet how are they able to present themselves before the Lord? There's a floor in heaven. And that floor is called the sea of glass. So where they are before the Lord, because they can communicate through glass right here, through the glass they can see God, communicate with Him. Satan and the sons of God, we know they are before the Lord, and the Lord is on His throne in heaven, right? But they can't be in there. So where are they? They're underneath that sea of glass. Really, Pastor? There is? Yeah, look at Revelation 4. Look at verse 2. And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in where? Heaven. So there's this throne in heaven in Revelation 4, verse 2. But what's before the throne? And they presented themselves before the Lord, right? So look at this. Look at verse 6. And before the throne there was what? A sea of glass. See that? That book is amazing, man. So, I mean, this is a doctrine that a lot of churches won't teach except Bible-believing ones. So Bible-believers know this, is that when they came before the Lord at His throne, what's before the throne? Revelation 4, 2 and 6. What's before the throne? The sea of glass. So they are communicating with Him through that sea of glass. It's not in heaven. Now that book is so amazing.